shadow, fists fly high, breaking through limits, I reach for the sky. Martial instincts power my stride, fight principles guiding my fight.
You are too concerned with what was and what will be. There's a saying, yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it's called the present. Have you recognize this quote? Yes, you're not mistaken. We're talking Kung Fu Panda here on the 5 Principles podcast, and welcome to another episode to said podcast where we analyze martial artists and what we can learn from it for real life. And now you might think like, wait, what? Kung Fu Panda? I thought you're talking real life martial arts. We talked about Demetrius Johnson. We talked about Musashi. We talked about like the legends of martial arts, and now Kung Fu Panda. So you might think that episode is a joke. I mean, talking about a chubby animated panda as if he's a martial arts master. But here's the thing. Kung Fu Panda might actually be one of the most accurate portrayals of the fight journey you've ever seen in a mainstream movie. It's not about fists. It's about identity, belief, fear, ego, and transformation. In short, it's about everything we talk about here on Fight Principles. So today, we break down what Po, Master Shifu, and even Tai Lung can teach us about real-life martial arts wisdom. So let's jump into the setup. What makes this story work? Yeah, Po is not chosen because of his skill. He becomes the dragon warrior because of something deeper. Openness, heart, and potential. Everyone else, including Shifu, sees only what he isn't. But the journey is about becoming, not deserving. This isn't just a kid's story. It's a mirror for life. So here's the 5 principles breakdown, lessons from the Panda Scroll. There's no secret ingredient. Oh no, I spoiled it. Yeah, we look for magic formulas, right? Titles, certifications, all those things. If I have a black belt, it means I'm awesome. If I have this certificate for work, it means I'm great. But mastery has no shortcut. And no one gives it to you. You have to step into it. You have to learn it. You have to master it by yourself. And the scroll is blank because you bring the meaning. There is this quote from Poe's father in the movie: to make something special, you just have to believe it's special. And the real life applications here, you don't need to be given permission to start something, to start training, to start learning a new language, to start learning to code, to do something for your work. You don't need permission to start. Just do it. Yeah, no external award or approval will ever replace your internal belief. That's why when you talk about motivation, right, there's like this big research on motivation, which I also use a lot at work. Like there's extrinsic motivation, intrinsic motivation. Yeah, sure, extrinsic motivation can help. Like here, if you do this, then you get that. Sure, it's nice, but it will never replace intrinsic motivation if you really want to achieve something because you really feel like that is you. Nothing's gonna beat that. So internal belief is what matters. Yeah, athletes, artists, creators, anyone who's breaking through whatever that might be. Yeah, the breakthrough comes when you stop waiting to be ready because you just keep working on it. You don't care if you get the breakthrough, and that's when it happens. So start before you're ready. Bring the ingredient. Believe that you will find that special something. Okay? welcome to my TED Talk. But it is something that is really, as someone who works with students at a university, it is sometimes a little bit bothersome that people wait until like they'll feel like they might be ready at some point. You will never be ready if you just wait. So start before you're ready, okay? Something we can use, we can learn from Master Shifu, from control to flow. Yeah, Shifu starts as this rigid, ego-driven master. Yeah, he believes greatness comes from force and structure. But Po doesn't respond to drills of fear. So Shifu has to unlearn what made him strong to become wise. Yeah, Shifu, watching Po climb to the top of the peach tree for food, he realizes when he believes, he becomes unstoppable. So the real life application here is that teaching, leading, even parenting, it's not about forcing people into your system. It's about meeting them where they are. Yet true coaching is adaptation. If your method doesn't work, you change. The ego says, why won't they get it? I've been doing this for such and such long. Wisdom says, how can I change so they do get it? The great teachers evolve faster than their students. And that's a great learning for martial arts as well as for real life. Yeah, evolve faster than, first of all, become a teacher. Yeah, give to others, help others understand. And once people turn to you, make sure you evolve faster than them. Because then, only then, you will be a really, really good teacher. And then we can also look not only at Master Shifu, we can also look at Tai Lung to learn something. Seriously, how do we make this work now? That talent without temperance. That's basically the sub-headline for Tai Lung, right? Tai Lung is the dark mirror. Technically perfect, physically dominant, spiritually bankrupt. He believed that he deserved greatness. But when he was denied, he collapsed. Why? Because his identity was built on entitlement, not humility. Yeah, there's this scene in the movie where he screams at Shifu, "You were supposed to be my master!" Yeah, that shows the entitlement. And taking this to the real world, in any field, talent without humility burns out or self-destructs. Yeah, we all know people like this. Incredible skill, but toxic mindset, right? You know, even worse, sometimes we become that person when we feel owed, when we chase titles instead of truth. So here's the thing. Don't just train your body, train your expectations. Yeah, you're not entitled to anything, and sometimes that's hard to understand, not just in martial arts, but also at work, right? Or in relationships. Like, hey, I feel like I should get, oh, wait, now I act entitled. Nope. When you feel like that, remember, train your expectations. And of course, then there's Po, right? We had Master Shifu, Tai Lung, now then there's Po. What can we learn from Po? Turning weakness into a weapon. I love that. Yeah, Po doesn't succeed by copying others, right? He wins by embracing who he already is. His size, his curiosity, his love of food, his awkwardness. He's the first warrior who fights with joy. And that's what makes him unpredictable. You know the scene, right? Everyone knows the scene, whoever watched Kung Fu Panda. He defeats Tai Lung, not with brutality, but with play. And he turns the battle into like a flow of instinct. And that's just a great real-life learning. Yeah, what if your weakness isn't something to fix? but something to understand and use. Yeah, your weirdness, your background, your failures. That's your real edge. Your adaptability over imitation. Yeah, stop trying to be the warrior you admire. Become the only you, or become the one only you can be, right? It's great to have idols and admire others, sure, but don't try to copy them. Be the one only you can be. And let's talk about our master, right? Presence is the path. Because he's the embodiment of centeredness, right? He doesn't rush. He doesn't panic. He trusts the flow of things, but still acts with purpose. Kind of like Master Yoda, actually. One of the quotes from the movie that he says is, one often meets his destiny on the road he takes to avoid it. Damn. That's in a cartoon? My God. Yeah, presence isn't passive. It's powerful. It's powerfully alert stillness. When you're always reacting, then you lose direction. But when you breathe and see, you start to move with intention. So whether in sparring, in arguments, or business, silence can be a position of strength. And so before you speak or strike, pause. Because that's where the real fight begins. And if you listen to previous episodes, that's a takeaway we learned from many great martial artists before, and now also in Kung Fu Panda, so there must be something to it, right? To wrap things up, yeah, Kung Fu is not a style, it's a way. And Kung Fu Panda teaches that being a warrior isn't about speed, power, or perfect form. It's about knowing who you are. And once you accept who you are, everything changes. Your real Kung Fu isn't something you do, it's something you become. And to wrap things up with the quote of the movie, Creation of Secret Ingredients, it's just you. And what we learned from this, right? We learned that the greatest fighters don't try to become someone else. They stop resisting who they already are. And sometimes the deepest truth comes in the simplest package, like a dumpling, right? All right, this is Fight Principles. Stay grounded, stay curious, and believe in a blank scroll. We'll be back soon. Until then, stay safe, take care. Sawadee Krap.
Steel and shadow, fists fly high, breaking through limits, I reach for the sky. Martial instincts power my stride. Fight principles guiding my fight.